Rob, maybe we could approach this from a different perspective. Since you're working at an in-state agency with North Carolina Biotech, there are a number of faculty that I've run across that maybe don't perceive themselves to be as competitive at ECU as a colleague, pick a university, Duke or a Carnegie Mellon or somewhere else. And so the philosophy that they're working with is that rather than going for the big grants, what I'll do is apply for a small grant, and my chances of being more competitive in that realm are better. Or conversely, and this to me is somewhat worse, if you look at a large grant program and under propose, under budget for that program, the philosophy is that if I ask for less, I'm more competitive than someone who asks for more money. Now, typically we try to dissuade that sort of thinking. What about
as would we. So with the Biotech Center, and I imagine this is probably true for many agencies, you know, we don't get extra points for only funding Duke, Carolina, and state opportunities, okay? No, actually, to the counter, we want to see our impact. We're funded by the state. This is taxpayer dollars at work. You know, we want to have impact statewide. So if anything, we're, without changing where the bar is set, we absolutely welcome and we'll work with investigators, or we actually have a grant to tech transfer offices, work with Marty and her in Carlisle and the office there. And the same is true for companies outside the triangle. You know, we may dig in a little bit more and roll up our sleeves a little bit more to help them be more competitive. You know, good science is good science. That's the foundation. One of the things, reacting to a comment you made, a point you made earlier, Ernie, in terms of chasing money because it's there. You know, one of it implied in there is sort of the culture difference between academia and industry. And by industry here, I'm talking more the earlier stage, oftentimes universities spin out companies. You know, in your academic lives, very often you've made it to a certain level of success because you've been able to react to what's going on in science or borrow from other areas of science and make pivots, make changes in your direction as the data suggests that you should. That is a tremendous thing in academia. That is typically going to be counterproductive if you're looking at taking that same underlying science, committing it to a technology, committing that technology to an application. There, focus and persistence is going to be your friend. If you chase, and we've seen this many times, by the way, if you chase federal SBIR grants, and those are available to companies, not to academic researchers per se. If you chase those grants, if you chase our funding, simply because, well, we could do that, let's go over here, we could do that, we could go over, you know, what becomes very clear is you don't have a vision. You're not making net progress, you know, down a path that you've determined you want to go to. That may not be obvious to some funding agencies, but by the time you get to angel and venture investment, that's a deal killer. They need the commitment. Not that things don't change or you might see more commercial opportunity in a related application, one area of oncology versus another, or one food crop versus another, perhaps. But you know, lack of focus is what is the early death knell for many academic startups, companies.
So